I am here to tell you about body movement and awareness in immersive experiences. And I'm going to do so through presenting you my work and balance and the process that led me to it. So one quote that really inspired my work is one by Acrylicize, which reads, "Bodily sensations greatly contribute to our minds being embodied and embedded in the world. It is how we experience our bodies and how our bodies experience the world." So being aware about this and knowing that we are more and more aware today in our Western world of the importance of body awareness and body movement for our physical and mental health, I've been looking at our everyday interactions and spatial context only to see that it mainly limits and control our bodies, as well as dispersing our everyday attention. So from this, I thought, how could we imagine then human space interactions for grounding the notion of embodiment? And also, how could we imagine human space interactions training curiosity, exploration, and awareness rather than efficiency? Through my research, I stumbled upon the Someasthetics theory, which became a big part of my work. This theory highlights the links between amplifying sensory perception, learning body awareness, and moving in unusual ways. So from there, I thought, okay, so then how can we create experiences can we create experiences which would push people to move in unusual ways through amplifying sensory perception? There is a video there coming, yeah. So my very initial explorations were looking at shifting body perception through adding weights on different parts of the body, as well as shifting body perception through virtual avatar, which was distorting my own body. And finally, looking at shifting world perception through illusions of verticality in VR and XR. Through those experimentations, I found that the node really to the perception of our body, the perception of the world, and especially the perception of the moving body in the world is really balance, as it is balance that we are constantly negotiating as we are moving through the world. So I decided to play on this notion and see what would happen. My first prototype was looking at shifting the perception of the world in XR. It was doing so through a tilting cushioned platform and immersing the participant into a VR experience where the horizon would be shifting as the platform tilted, as well as changing the gravity of the world and having particles attracted in different directions. Doing some initial tests with this, I realized that the participants were mainly moving the lower part of their body in this experience. And I thought, okay, so balance is really more about the axis between the head and the part of the body. This is how I started looking at sensory augmentation apparatus, placing different tubes on different locations of the body, which were filled with very heavy beads. So it's lead beads, the same material that you'd use to go deep diving. I worked with the dancer Tia Hockey to see how the different locations of the body, the different materials of the tubes, and were creating different more or less linear responses to her movements, and how this was triggering, encouraging different forms of movement, different speeds, and different forces. This worked really well on her, but trying it out on just our regular audience and everyday people, I realized that people were getting a bit of a stage fright and moving a lot less than in my initial prototype. So this is how I ended up with my prototype 3, which was shifting perception of the body and the world through physical and virtual sensory augmentation. So this combines one of the apparels we just discussed with the tilting platform, as well as a VR experience where the body is emitting particles, which are getting attracted in different directions depending on the movements of the upper body, so the head to hips axis, as well as the tilts of the platform. This was exhibited at Ars Electronica, and I got loads of people to play with it, and it really got me to understand that this really seemed to work, as every kind of people really naturally started getting very curious and really started to explore movement and completely forget about anyone around them, and just started to move in very unusual ways, which was what I set up to create. So it is this third prototype that I developed in Unbalance, which you can see a bit of the teaser there. So Unbalance is a 10 minutes solo experience where players are invited to play on the edge of stability. VR technology is combined to 2 analog tools, a wearable and a tilting platform. They merge into visual, touch, and sound stimuli, augmenting the player's perception of her body and environment. So I'm going to look just a little bit into more detail into the development of the elements of this experience. So first, we have the platform where I found that adding auditory feedback there was really useful too. So I added those LED beads tubes, and then we have the apparel, which uses neoprene so that it can really allow the participant to move while holding the weight of the beads. It combines different materials of tubes so that we combine different more or less linear responses to the participant's movement. And then finally, we have, I'm not what happened there, sorry. We go back. Oh, no. Yay. Apologies for that. So let me just tell you through it. So the VR experience is using very muted shades of gray so that it would keep the visual stimuli in balance with other stimuli, so auditory and haptic. And finally, the experience evolves through time, getting the player's awareness to flow between her body and the environment. In the play of multi-sensory stimuli enhanced by nonlinear responses awakens the player's curiosity, made unusually aware in body and environment. She's provoked to engage in a truly exploratory process through movement, which I am currently developing into a collective experience, so a multi-sensory playground, looking at how I could use, so not using VR, but still using a form of XR where there are screens and beads, visible beads within those platforms, and how how I could get people to move together and be aware of their bodies and environments together rather than a solo experience. And this is it for me. Thank you.